The system is 4 years ahead of schedule, but Weird is still a cub. Chapter 1. Weird, with the characteristic, silent. Xiao Shen, regarding the design plan. I had some ideas yesterday. Look here, it would be better if I changed it like this, right? Or this like this again. Ahem, you don't think it's troublesome for me, do you? Shen Jie came out of the conference room, Boss Chen's words still echoing in his mind. If I remember correctly, this was the 17th time he had an idea. This plan was revised 17 times by Shen Jie in just 1 week. 17 times. It's like being pressed to the ground and rubbed by a big man 17 times. Grass. Shen Jie originally wanted to overturn the table on the spot, but when Boss Chen proposed an additional 5 points of remuneration, he suddenly felt that since it was the request of party as father, he could accept the friction again. Brother Shen, the meeting is over, would you like some coffee? The person who spoke was the new front desk girl, who was pretty and a nice person. Shen Jie has a face that can be chatted up by rich women driving Porsches on the street, and he often receives care from these little girls. No, thank you. I need to change the plan and prepare for on-site inspection. Is that so? Are you free on the weekend? Let's have dinner together? Well, if you don't work overtime. Hearing these words, the girl at the front desk knew that there was no chance again. After all, Shen Jie, as the pillar of the company, worked overtime for 3.5 of the 4 weekends a month. Shen Jie left the company and took a taxi to Lushan International, the largest and most prosperous villa area in Dongcheng District, Rong City. Boss Chen's single-family villa decoration plan was handled by Shen Jie, and his little idea this time was to build a pet room next to his daughter's room on the 2nd floor. Shen Jie's plan has been changed 17 times. He has been to this place 30 times and found Boss Chen's daughter's room with ease. As soon as I opened the door next door, I saw a black shadow falling from the ceiling. Cat? In the center of the room, a black cat with its fur standing on end and an attacking posture stared at Shen Jie with wide green eyes. Strangely, the black cat opened its mouth and hissed, but no sound came out. Have you left your vocal belt at home? Shen Jie teased. I don't know if this sentence angered the black cat, but it suddenly jumped up and rushed towards Shen Jie. Shen Jie didn't want to take a shot of rabies vaccine, so he grabbed his backpack and subconsciously swept it away, hitting the black cat with a home run and hitting it against the wall. The strange thing is that the collision hurt Shen Jie, but whether it was the collision with the wall or the impact on the ground, there was still no sound. The black cat stood up unsteadily, shook his head, stared at Shen Jie more fiercely, and hissed silently with his mouth open. What a hatred! Shen Jie didn't want to get involved with the black cat and was going to go out to find a stick to drive the black cat out of the villa. But before that, he had to exit the room. As soon as he retreated to the door, the black cat pounced on him fiercely. Shen Jie was startled and yanked the door sharply, trying to close it. Click. The black cat just rushed to the door, and when it was closed, the door was directly clamped on his neck. Well, you bumped into it yourself, don't blame me. Shen Jie looked at the motionless black cat on the ground with a complicated mood. He poked it with his foot, but there was no reaction at all. He didn't know whether he was fainted or dead. Just when Shen Jie was about to pick up the black cat by the scruff of the neck and throw it out of the villa, there was a ding in his mind, and a mechanized voice appeared, which scared Shen Jie and threw the black cat against the wall. Snapped. The black cat slid pitifully from the wall. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing the 4th level weirdness, characteristic. Silent. The system is activated. Shen Jie. What the hell? System. Shen Jie was suddenly startled by the sudden, ding, sound, but when he heard, system, he was no longer sleepy. As a social worker who works overtime all year round, except for the annoying team building, there are almost no opportunities to socialize. Therefore, in Shen Jie's spare time, he either plays casual games that can be hung up with just a finger, or reads novels to pass the time. Shen Jie has been favoring his mother for decades, so he is very familiar with the system. Is this the Earth's will pitifully struggling against the hardships of workers, and is it finally willing to introduce a destiny system that can change plans with one click? The 3 basic sections of attributes, tasks, and logs have been updated. When the host rating is improved, more system functions will be activated. The host kills the 4th level weirdness, characteristic. Silent, and can sell the weird corpse to obtain system points to extract various equipment and props. It can also be swallowed by the system to extract characteristic abilities. Only weirdies of level 4 or above have characteristics, and characteristics are unique. When a weirdness with a certain characteristic dies, the characteristics will be transferred to the new weirdness, and there is a very small probability that it will be acquired by a high-level weirdness. Note: the characteristics absorbed by the host will no longer appear. System points? Characteristics. Shen Jie has been working as a worker for a long time. In addition, he played a lot of games and read a lot of novels in college, and his receptive ability is relatively strong, so he quickly accepted the existence of the system. Shen Jie leaned down, carefully pinched the back of the black cat's neck and lifted it up. It was limp and no longer as ferocious as before. It looked like it was dead. No, this wild cat, although it is extremely aggressive, can be considered weird if it disappears when it is pinched by the door, or is it the unique, 4th level, weirdness? To be honest, Shen Jie even felt that the sudden appearance of the system was more weird. Weird, characteristic. Silent, worth 3,000 system points. Swallowing strange things, you can extract characteristics. The moment Shen Jie lifted up the black cat's body, as if he was watching a science fiction movie, 2 options in green font appeared in his eyes. The system point lottery is familiar to anyone who has played games. However, the reminder that only the 4th order weirdness and above have characteristics, and are unique, also made Shen Jie understand that 4th order weirdness should be quite rare. Instead of trying to get lucky with Cabo, why not try this rare feature first? Devour. Just after Shen Jie made his choice, the black cat corpse in his hand suddenly turned into a white light and disappeared, and then the voice of the system sounded in his mind again. The system suddenly changed into a dead cat, making Shen Jie's originally raised hand freeze in the air. His eyes widened, and his heartbeat suddenly accelerated. Fear? No, more of excitement. Level 4 inches weirdness, characteristic. Silent, was swallowed successfully. The characteristic, silent, was extracted, and the host attribute panel has been updated. Properties panel. Shen Jie thought excitedly in his mind, and a virtual projection with a sci-fi feel appeared in his eyes. It felt like fonts were printed on his irises. Rating. None basic attributes. Your body has been adjusted after the system is activated. Even if there is a huge deviation in attributes, you will not feel uncomfortable. The basic value of each attribute of a normal adult male is 100%. Power 83%. Agility 77%. Physique 63%. Spirit 159%. After using skills or characteristics to consume stamina, 10% will be recovered every hour. The recovery speed is affected by factors such as rating, equipment, items and props. Characteristics. Silent. After use, it can enter a silent state, consuming 0.5% energy per second, and can be activated at the same time as other features. Skills known equipment known system points. 0 Shen Jie's mood was a little complicated. System, weirdness, characteristics he couldn't tell whether he was feeling scared, nervous, frightened, excited, or excited at this time. Who doesn't want to have a system that can take him on an extraordinary path and add color to his life? If mechas are a man's romance, then the system is a man's dream. The only thing that puzzles him now is why the black cat is level 4, weird. Just because it has no vocal cords. Chapter 2. You are the only one fighting against the 5 scum. Oh yes, vocal cords. Shen Jie thought about the characteristic, silence, he had just obtained, and was ready to try out what this characteristic was. As soon as I thought about it in my mind, I got the prompt that the system's feature, silent, is on. Characteristics, silent, then? Nothing happened? Shen Jie opened the panel and took a look and found that the mental power column was indeed decreasing by 0.5% per second, but there was no special feeling in the body. What the hell? Shen Jie wanted to complain, but found that he opened his mouth, but no sound came out. Hey! Huh? Shen Jie tried to open his mouth to speak. Although it felt the same as usual, no sound came out no matter how hard he tried. Shen Jie thought for a moment, silently recited the closing feature in his heart, and then tried to open his mouth to speak. Hey! Huh? The voice has returned to normal. The corners of Shen Jie's eyes twitched, and she was suddenly speechless. No, this feature of silence means making oneself mute. That's useful. No, just because you can't make a sound, it doesn't qualify you as a fourth-level weird person, right? Or should we say that the emergence of fourth-level characteristics is considered a starting rating? The unique characteristics that exist only in the fourth level of weirdness sound very rare and powerful, but are they actually just from the novice village? After all, it is a wild cat that is not only a bit aggressive, but can actually fight against the five scum. It is fair to say that it is a novice monster. Silence. At this time, an idea flashed in Shen Ji's mind, and he suddenly thought of a possibility. After turning on the silent feature again, he suddenly raised his foot and stepped on the ground. No sound. Tread again. Still no sound. Hey, this ability is perfect for playing hide and seek. Shen Ji's eyes lit up, and he rushed excitedly to the room next door where there was a pile of building materials, found 2 steel pipes, returned to the stairs, and banged on the guardrail. Dong dong, kang. Boom, clang. Shen Ji beat the beat in his heart and kept tapping on the railing. But no matter how he knocked, whether it was light or hard, fast or slow, the steel pipe hit the railing, but there was not even the slightest sound. Shen Ji started to try various things, knocking on the wall, knocking on the railings, and knocking on the door. There were several dents in the wooden door, but there was still no sound. Shen Ji took out his mobile phone and wanted to start a recording to try. This silence was just that he couldn't hear the sound, but there was still sound when he tapped it, or something else. Who would have thought that when I was browsing a short video in the car, the short video screen would pop up directly after unlocking it? This woman's name is Xiao Mei. Looking at the subtitles of the movie commentary on the screen, but no sound came out. Shen Ji pressed the volume button and the volume increased from 4 to 5. In other words, there is no silence. Shen Ji turned the volume of her mobile phone to the maximum, and the movie commentary continued. The subtitles appeared on the screen, but no sound was heard. Shen Ji thought for a moment and put his phone on the ground. The moment his hand left the phone, the voice of the movie commentary on the phone rang out. Xiao Mei met her new boyfriend Da Zhuang, and the two were about to call him. Friends, let's travel to Crystal Lake, a resort with stunning scenery. Shen Ji picked up the phone again, but there was no sound again. After trying it several times, Shen Ji already had a rough answer in mind, so he turned on the recording on his phone and knocked on the wooden door with a steel pipe as planned. After recording a piece of sound, then turn on the playback of the recording and take your hands away from the phone. But this time, there was no sound coming from the phone. As long as it is related to oneself, it will be silent. If you get a gun, you won't even need a silencer. Shen Ji was summarizing the effect of silence when he raised his eyes and noticed the wooden door in front of him. He made dents on the side of the wooden door. He also poked more than a dozen holes with steel pipes on the door panel, and a large piece was hollowed out in the middle. Hey guys, the 3,000 yuan is gone for this test. Although Shen Ji felt a little pained, he had figured out the effect of the characteristic. Then, he was ready to try other functions of the system. The first is mission. For a senior game player, mission is especially important. This is a section that can provide players with a lot of rewards. Crisis mission. You are currently in a level 4 strange lair. There are a large number of low-level strange things wandering around here under the influence of level 4 strangeness, which is very dangerous. With your current rating, it is absolutely impossible for you to be these strange opponents. Please cherish your life and escape from the area immediately. Time limit. 30 minutes. Reward. 30 system points. Daily tasks. There are signs of the birth of the 8th level strangeness in Rong City. Although the Dongcheng district where you are is temporarily safe, there is no guarantee that it will not be swallowed up by the strange realm tomorrow. Seize the time to search for enough supplies for 7 days and escape from the strange and rampant Dongcheng district. Reward. 50 system points, random F-level supplies x1. 2 missions, a limited time crisis mission and an ordinary daily mission. It's just that Shen Ji always felt that these 2 tasks were strange, but for the moment he couldn't say what was strange about them. The area with strange hauntings on level 4. Shen Ji glanced sideways at the room next door where he had just met the black cat, and had a guess in his mind. So he quickly went downstairs and left the villa. The crisis mission, escape from the level 4 strange lair, has been completed, and the current time is 57 seconds. The host successfully escapes from the very dangerous level 4 strange lair, possessing both wisdom and bravery, and invincible bravery, and is rewarded with double system points 60. After the prompt ends, the system points column in the panel has changed from 0 to 60. Shen Jie. If the system wants to give me double the reward, it can be given directly. There is really no need to find such a far-fetched reason. Shen Jie couldn't help but look back at the single-family villa, which was the symbol of the rich in Dongcheng district. He couldn't figure out what was dangerous here. This system always gave him a strange and inexplicable feeling. At this time, Shen Jie suddenly thought of the prompt in the system mission. This place is affected by level 4 weirdness and there are a lot of low-level weirdness wandering around, so he returned to the villa and found the steel pipes used to test the silence, room by room. Search the past. Meow, meow. When I walked to the room at the end of the second floor, as soon as I opened the door, there was a meowing sound in the room, 2 tabby cats and 1 white cat. When the 3 cats saw Shen Jie, the uninvited guest, they immediately arched their bodies, raised their tails in an attacking posture, and stared at Shen Jie fiercely. Why is there so much hostility? There are many wild cats in the community where Shen Jie lives, but he has never seen one as hostile to humans as the ones in front of him. Shen Jie took the steel pipe and slammed it on the shelf next to him. There was a loud kang sound, which scared the 3 wild cats and jumped to the balcony. Shen Jie chased to the balcony and saw that 3 wild cats had jumped into the green belt. The host used the attribute of fighting against the 5 scum to bravely fight 3 terrifying first-order weirdos, and successfully scared them away. His courage is amazing. Reward system points x5. Because Shen Jie has been designing in the office all year round, Shen Jie lacks exercise and has very average physical fitness. In addition, he had a serious illness some time ago and rested at home for more than a week, so it is normal for various attributes to be lower than the standard attributes. But the evaluation of the system and the 5 scums is somewhat heart-wrenching. You are the only one fighting against the 5 scum. That's what I call a spiritual expert. Chapter 3. I didn't wear it, did the system wear it? Shen Jie now has a general understanding of the characteristics and system. Although a group of wild cats looks scary, ferocious and strange to the system, which is very strange in itself. But as long as the system gives rewards, Shen Jie doesn't mind playing a weird house game with the system. At present, the system has activated 3 major sections. In addition to attributes and tasks, there is also a log section, from which Shen Gexindao may be able to get some clues. Log. As soon as he finished speaking, lines of small words appeared on Shen Jie's pupils and irises. Log. On January 3, 2027, as an 8th level strange appeared in Tokyo, the skyrocketing strange realm engulfed the entire Tokyo overnight. No matter how hard various countries tried to cover up the truth, they could not hide the fact that Tokyo had fallen under the developed network. And those terrifying and weird, urban legends, finally found the answer at this moment. In 2027, with the frequent occurrence of strange events, various countries have discovered that the growth of strange things is much faster than in previous years. The monsters that appeared in strange events that they once suppressed have now grown to the point where they are unable to fight against them. In just 1 year, the world has become a purgatory and is in danger. On January 3, 2028, the host survival team came to a previously designed villa while searching for resources, and mistakenly entered a strange and haunted area on level 4. The host relied on its strong will to survive, familiarity with the terrain, and the opportunity created by the sacrifice of all teammates to successfully kill the level 4 weird, silent, and activate the system. Etc. 2027, 2028. Shen Jie subconsciously took out his phone and glanced at the date, January 3, 2024, on the phone, and immediately understood where the weird feeling came from. In the novel, the protagonist always travels through time, so why does it become a system time travel when he comes here? According to the system log, 3 years later, with the emergence of the 8th level weirdness that swallowed up the entire Tokyo, the weirdness was completely exposed to the world. And I only activated the system in the 2nd year after the weirdness was exposed? So it's not that the black cat is not worthy of level 4 weirdness, but that it will only reach level 4 weirdness in 4 years? The system was activated 4 years in advance. The mystery that had been plaguing Shen Jie was finally solved. It turned out that it was not that the black cat was not strong, but that the other party had not grown up at all. This is just like a superhero who proposed to go back in time and kill the baby purple sweet potato, after learning about the ability to travel through time and space. 4 years later, the wildcat will be level 4 weird, but now it is still a cub. Shen Ji's mood was extremely complicated at the moment. Although he had activated the system, he was not happy at all when he learned that something strange would break out 3 years later and the world would be in danger. Under the cover of the nest, there are completed eggs. The Earth is gone. Will it be possible for me to build a spaceship to wander the universe? Shen Jie took a long breath, thinking that no matter what, the system was activated in advance, and even if something strange happened, he would have an extra guarantee of survival. Judging from the content of the log, countries should be aware of the existence of the strange, and it is not difficult to understand why they cover it up. It is nothing more than the theory of the men in black MIB. For unknown existences, it is easier to control them by keeping them mysterious than by exposing them, because once humans discover that there is something beyond their control, they easily become panicked. Strange, even more so. I just didn't expect that in 2027, with the appearance of a strange 8th-level creature, the situation became extremely serious. In just 1 year, the world was reduced to purgatory, and the Earth was in danger. Shen Jie felt a little heavy, but then he thought about it. Now that the system has been activated in advance, if he seizes 3 years to make some preparations, maybe there will be changes in the future? Not to mention completely preventing the strangeness from coming, at least delaying the speed of strangeness coming to this land of life, or rather not being completely passive. Thinking of this, Shen Jie gathered his mood and prepared to study the daily tasks, and seize as much time as possible to obtain more rewards. Collect supplies for 7 days and leave Dongcheng district, where weird things are rampant. Collect supplies. Through previous tests of the system and the logs, Shen Jie already had a clear direction for completing this daily task. Shen Jie had just come out of Lushan International when he received an urgent prompt from the system. Warn. 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 The host appears in the realm of level 7 weirdness. There are a large number of new weirdnesses affected by the level 7 weirdness in this area. With the current strength of the host, there is absolutely no way it can be an opponent of these weirdnesses. Host, please cherish your life and escape from the strange Dongcheng district as soon as possible. Shen Jie looked at the people on the street, and for a moment it was difficult to connect this scene with weird and rampant. From the system's perspective, this place was very strange and dangerous. The 3 warning characters even flashed in red on his irises. Although it was fleeting, it made Shen Jie uncontrollably nervous. However, according to the information in the log, it is possible that level 8 weirdness may appear in Wrong City, which can even swallow up Tokyo. How about moving first? Shen Jie thought in his mind. The cities of Dachang, Joshi, and Zhujiang have developed well in recent years and can be used as alternatives. There is a 2-story large shopping mall, Tom's, across the street. If you want to collect resources for 7 days, the shopping mall is undoubtedly the best choice. Shen Jie walked to the zebra crossing and was about to go to the other side of the street when the system's urgent voice sounded in his mind again, and a blood-red prompt suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Warn. 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 The current road surface has been severely polluted, and there will be unpredictable dangers. If detected by level 7 weirdness and affected by the weird field, the current area may become a swamp, lava zone, quicksand area, etc. due to the weird characteristics. Please host. Leave this area quickly. The urgent prompt made Shen Jie couldn't help but become nervous. Seeing the traffic light on the other side of the road starting to count down, he subconsciously trotted to the other side. Congratulations to the host for safely passing through an area heavily polluted by level 7 weirdness. He is agile and courageous. Reward system points x5. Just crossing the street. Why are you so excited? Shen Jie suddenly felt that there were many flaws, but instead of complaining, he had a good idea in mind. Wait for the red light across the street to turn green and walk across the street again. Warn. 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 The current road surface has been severely polluted and there will be unpredictable dangers. Please leave this area quickly. Shen Jie walked to the other side of the road expressionlessly. Congratulations to the host for safely passing through an area heavily polluted by level 7 weirdness. He is agile and courageous. Reward system points x5. Well, this is also okay. Shen Zhe walked back and forth on the zebra crossing without hesitation, but starting from the third time, the system reward prompts changed. The host is not afraid of being bold and cautious in times of danger, and with his keen observation skills, he has been able to skillfully pass through level 7 weird and heavily polluted areas. Reward system points x15. After that, Shen Zhe had to walk back and forth on the road 3 or 5 times before the system prompt appeared, but it was just a praise and no reward. Going more than 20 times, I reluctantly gave a reward of 1 point. It seems that this method can be used to repeatedly earn reward points for an event, but it cannot be stuck with bugs for a long time? The system is a little smart, but not much. Shen Zhe took a look at the system points of 91, which was still 9 points away from a lottery. It seemed that he could only find a solution through daily or other reward events. Chapter 4. I endured the discomfort and went in and out 3 times. Shen Zhe walked across the road and walked towards Tom's Mall. On the shopping mall building, several high-altitude workers were hanging on the Blue Cat signboard in Western attire and wiping the billboard. The area below was cordoned off, and pedestrians around the area deliberately avoided that area to avoid anything falling. Security guards were patrolling around, and everything looked the same as usual. If it weren't for the system in the body, Shen Zhe would have been hard-pressed to imagine that this area would become a heavily polluted area filled with weird things in the next few years. Warn. 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 The host is entering an area that is highly contaminated by level 7 weirdness. There are a large number of low-level weirdnesses wandering around in this area, looking for life forms to devour. Several of them are high-level weirdos that can detect the presence of the host through their keen sense of smell, and the host is currently locked. Host, please cherish your life and escape quickly. Hearing the sudden system prompt, Shen Zhe immediately looked around. No one seemed to be paying attention to him. At this time, Shen Zhe noticed that several people were walking their dogs on the grass in the distance. Huskies, golden retrievers, labradors. Several big dogs were running happily on the grass. The husky seemed to notice Shen Zhe, sticking out its tongue and waving its tail rhythmically, as if it would pounce on Shen Zhe without hesitation if Shen Zhe teased her casually. Thinking of the previous experience of receiving rewards, Shen Zhe squatted down, stretched out his hand and rubbed his fingers while making funny dog sounds in his mouth. The husky's eyes lit up when he saw this, and he rushed straight towards Shen Zhe, bumped into Shen Zhe's arms, and threw him to the ground. Shen Zhe didn't expect Husky's impact to be so strong. He lost his center of gravity and was knocked down by the opponent. After Husky knocked him down, he thought Shen Zhe was teasing him and licked his hand while hugging him. With Day. Too careless. Being humped by a dog. Oh, you idiot. What are you doing? You idiot. You are such an idiot. At this time, the woman who was still chatting with her friends on the grass saw her dog knocking the person down, and hurried over to try to pull the husky away. Sorry. My little asterisk has a bit of an out-of-touch temperament and is not afraid of life. Whenever someone teases it, it thinks it's being played with, and it gets very happy. You idiot, don't come here yet. Don't even think about eating today. Second goods. The woman looks to be in her 20s, wearing a sportswear, and has a somewhat proud figure. No wonder this asterisk likes to push people's chests. She apologized and pulled the husky back. This husky was quite obedient. When he heard his master scolding him, he quickly backed away and squatted on the ground, sticking out his tongue and swiping his tail happily. That wise look can only be said. The dog is as its name suggests. I'm sorry, are you okay? The woman looked at Shen Zhe apologetically, and was slightly startled when she saw his rather lethal face. It's okay. I should be the one saying sorry. I saw Erha was so cute, so I couldn't help but tease him. Shen Zhe stood up and dusted himself off. Do you like dogs too? The woman asked with joy on her face. Yes. Do you have a dog? I want to raise one, but it's hard for me to raise a dog as a worker, so I don't have the energy to raise a dog, Shen Zhe said regretfully. The woman smiled and said, it's not possible to raise energetic dogs like huskies, but you can raise some small dogs with gentler temperaments. I'll definitely give it a try if I get the chance. I won't disturb you for walking your dog. I have some things to do, so I'll leave first, After Shen Jie finished speaking, he walked towards Tom's mall. At this time, the woman shouted from behind, "Handsome man, please add us on Weibo. When you get a dog in the future, you can make an appointment to walk the dog together." Shen Jie turned around and said with regret on his face, "Sorry, I usually don't use WeChat. They all use Q, next time for sure." The woman wanted to say that adding Q would be fine, but it looked like Shen Jie was obviously perfunctory. Normally, others would take the initiative to ask her to add Q this time. She took the initiative but was rejected. She also felt a little emotional, so she leading the husky toward the grass. The host faced the second-level weird and ferocious attack without hesitation, and used the power of the 5 scum to defeat the enemy wittily, and was rewarded with system points x10. It's actually 5 points more reward than crossing the road? You should have said it earlier. If you had told me earlier, I would have added the WeChat ID. Shen Jie looked back at the grassland. Several dog walkers had already tied their dogs on leashes and were walking towards the path by the river. She gave up the idea of shamelessly asking for WeChat. According to one event, 3 experiences can be completed, and 20 system points will be lost. Shen Jie could only comfort himself by doing daily tasks first. After all, there was no guarantee that rewards would appear if he continued to amuse the husky. Walking to the gate of Tom Mall, just when Shen Jie was about to step in. Warn, 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 warn. The 2 eyes were flashing red fonts crazily, and the field of vision was dyed blood red, which looked both terrifying and weird. At the same time, the system warning sound kept appearing in Shen Jie's mind. The host is about to enter the 7th level strange lair, which has been covered by the strange domain. If the host enters with the current strength, his life will definitely be reversed. He will be unable to escape and will die in danger. Please cherish your life and stay away from the special pollution area immediately. Warn, warn, warn. Shen Jie's eyes were dazzled and he quickly closed his eyes. But the annoying thing is that the system's subtitles do not appear in the field of vision, but on the iris. After closing your eyes, except for turning the background to black, the green subtitles can still be seen clearly. System, can you please stop? I am so blinded by you. Shen Jie complained, but there was only warning in his field of vision, and the fancy comment, "You will die if you enter the door," kept repeating in his mind. With no choice but to leave, Shen Jie had no choice but to exit the mall. The host is blessed with great fortune, and he bravely entered the level 7 weird area with his current rating, and escaped from the weird area safely, which is commendable for his courage. Reward system points x50. So much. Shen Jie didn't hesitate immediately. He endured the discomfort caused by the blush on the system and tried his best to get in and out of the door twice. Happy to raise 100 system points again. Shen Jie was overjoyed. The system points easily increased from 101 to 251. Isn't this much better than teasing a dog? It's a pity that a normal event can earn system points up to 3 times. Starting from the 4th time, there are only praises but no points. Otherwise, Shen Jie could come and go here all night. At this time, a deep, yet somewhat doubtful and puzzled voice sounded next to him. "Brother, have you not thought about what to buy when you go in? It's really hard to make a decision. You can go in and take a look around before making a decision." The security uncle looked at Shen Jie with a strange expression, thinking that this young man looked quite smart, but unfortunately he suffered from difficulty in choosing. You can even be so confused about whether to enter the mall or not. Shen Jie was a little embarrassed and quickly exited the mall to escape from the scene of the death. He also complained about the system. "System, if you don't let me enter the mall, how can I complete the task of collecting resources? It has been detected that the host is too weak. Entering the special level infection zone will lead to death and no life. Please cherish your life and do not seek death. Start exploring from the low-level area." Can the warning function that makes people dizzy be temporarily turned off? The host's strength is detected to be weaker than that of Zhan Wushu. The novice protection function cannot be turned off. Please cherish your life and seize the time to improve your strength. When the host rating is improved, the novice protection function will be automatically released, and the danger warning mode can be turned on or off at your own choice. P.S. Don't seek death. No matter how strong Shen Jie's spirit is, he can't hold it back. This system is really capable of mental attacks. Chapter 5. Somewhat IQ, but not much affected by the newcomer baby protection function. Shen Jie cannot enter Tom's mall. But this is not a big problem, just change to a smaller supermarket. But the key point is that level 7 weirdness, strange territory, and special pollution area are words that should be classified as science fiction and supernatural at first glance, which makes Shen Jie very concerned. So, the level 7 weirdness that has put the entire Dongcheng district in danger and turned it into asterisk 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 as in Tom's supermarket right now? If you can grow to level 7 weirdness in 4 years, wouldn't it mean that you have at least a few levels now? As soon as this idea appeared, Shen Jie was immediately shocked. But then he thought about it. According to the information currently disclosed by the system, weirdness feeds on living bodies. If there is really weirdness in this place, even if it is only the first and second levels, there should be a murder happening. And once a murder case occurs, there is no way this mall will still be the most visited shopping mall in Dongcheng district. System, at what level can we increase our strength to enter this area? Shen Jie asked in his mind. Rate the current status of the host. The rating result is level 0. Please host cherish life, do not seek death, stay away from level 4 and above weirdness. Avoid level 3 weirdness. Try not to provoke level 2 weirdness. Work hard to grow, and defeat level 1 weirdness as soon as possible. Although the system answers some questions, aside from the system's mental attacks, Shen Jie probably guessed the level of the newcomer baby warning. He probably won't be able to enter a place that is haunted by strange things at level 4. At level 3, he will be reminded a few more times. At level 1 and level 2, it will be like the previous wild cats and wild dogs, with one reminder and it will be over. As for why he was able to enter the villa where Wildcat, silent, was, that was the area he entered before activating the system, so he didn't get any prompts. How to quickly improve your strength? Shen Jie asked again. Start testing the host's current physical fitness before the attribute values reach normal values. The host can exercise to improve the basic attribute values. Complete daily tasks and you will get 1% free points for distribution at 0 the next day. Earn system points for lottery. Every 100 system points can be drawn once. Rewards include various materials, free attribute points, equipment props, etc. Kill the weird ones and sell the weird corpses to get a lot of system points. Swallow high-level weirdness with characteristics and acquire characteristics. The system lists all the ways that Shen Jie can currently use to become stronger, but this feels like asking questions to the AI. It can only be said that the system has some intelligence, but not much. System, are you conscious? There is no response from the system this time. System, sing a song by Jalen. Still no response. System, what is weird? No response. Are these questions unanswerable and beyond the system's understanding, or did the 2 random questions just mess up the system? System, how to improve strength? Start testing the host's current physical fitness. Before the attribute values reach normal values, the host can exercise to improve the basic attribute values. The system directly repeated the previous answer. As I said before, I have some intelligence, but not much. Wait a minute. Since acquiring characteristics can improve your rating, don't I have the level 4 characteristic silent? Shen Jie asked doubtfully. Rate the current status of the host. The rating result is level 0. The level 4 characteristic silence does not count as combat power? The rating result is correct. You yourself said that the absorption properties can be enhanced. The rating result is correct. System, sing a song by Jalen. Shen Jie tried to ask the system a few questions related to the weirdness, but received very few replies. Even the system didn't know where the weirdness came from. However, after the system prompts Shen Jie to improve his rating, more functions of the system will be released, and the answer may be found from it. After Shen Jie left Tom's mall, he walked along the street for a while and noticed a Hongqi supermarket in front of him, so he walked straight in. Welcome. Shen Jie walked to the door. When the automatic glass door opened, the voice announcer placed at the door automatically sounded, "Hello." 7 days supplies. Shen Jie glanced at the products displayed on the supermarket shelves and didn't know what to buy for a while. After thinking for a while, I happened to be running out of rice at home, so I picked up a 5-kilogram bag of rice, and then bought a box of instant noodles, some chocolate, and a 10-liter bottle of mineral water. Is this enough for 7 days? After Shen Jie paid the money and came out of the supermarket with large and small bags of things, the system prompt sounded in his mind. You are very lucky to find a supermarket that has not been visited yet. In a period when food is scarce, you can find so many supplies that have not expired. You are indeed the chosen one. For a moment, Shen Jie didn't know what words to use to describe his delicate mood at this time. After all, the system was activated 4 years in advance, and the system judgment cannot be viewed with normal thinking. 4 years from now, the supermarket will probably be occupied by strange things, and it should have been looted long ago, with no supplies left. It makes sense for the system to forcefully explain it like this. Shen Jie walked to the roadside carrying large and small bags, preparing to take a taxi home and leave Dongcheng district to complete today's daily tasks. But he usually buys things either from or Pupu Meituan. He rarely carries so many things. Walking from the supermarket to the roadside with more than 20 kilograms of things, his hands are actually a little sore. In Dongcheng district, where weird things are rampant and dangers abound, the host does not forget to exercise while searching for resources. It is commendable for his courage. Strength plus 1%, constitution plus 1%. This, Shen Jie was surprised, and without hesitation he carried 2 large bags of things and walked back and forth on the street for several times. He didn't stop until his hands were so sore that he couldn't lift them up. In Dongcheng district, where weird things are rampant and dangers abound, the host actually doesn't forget to seize every minute to exercise. His courage is astonishing. Strength plus 6%, agility plus 3%, constitution 6%. The same effect as a normal event. Shen Jie can obtain the reward 3 times by repeating it, but starting from the 3rd time, the acquisition speed is obviously much slower. For example, for the first time, I just carried more than 20 kilograms of stuff from the supermarket through the green belt to the roadside, which was only a total distance of 200 to 300 meters. The second time I walked back and forth twice, and the 3rd time it tripled. Shen Jie put the things at his feet and took a few breaths. Sure enough, he sat too much in the office and just lay down when he got home. He lacked exercise. However, if it were not for lack of exercise, his basic attributes would not even reach the standard level of a normal adult male. Shen Jie already had a preliminary plan in mind. Starting from tomorrow morning, he planned to get up 2 hours early and run from Shijiang district to the company in Dongcheng district to work. He would at least bring his basic attributes to the average value first, and then pass other tests. The method keeps getting stronger. Chapter 6. The Host and the Level 5 Weird Extreme Pull, Brave and Invincible. Shen Jie took a taxi and left Dongcheng district and returned to his apartment in Shijiang district. As soon as I arrived at the gate of the community, I received a system prompt. The host has both wisdom and bravery and extraordinary courage. He broke into Dongcheng district alone where there were 7 strange existences and escaped unscathed. He successfully collected 7 days' worth of supplies. Reward double system points x 100, random F-level supplies x1. Do you want to withdraw the reward? No, Shen Jie didn't know if directly withdrawing the reward system would give him a big change in performance. This would easily attract attention in a crowded street, so he might as well go home. Shen Jie walked into the community carrying large and small bags, and came face to face with a security uncle who was about 50 or 60 years old, wearing security uniforms and with a kind smile on his face. Xiao Shen, you bought so many things. Come here, have an orange, it's very sweet. The security guard greeted Shen Jie enthusiastically and handed over a fresh orange. Shen Jie smiled back and was about to refuse when a red light appeared in front of his eyes, followed by the familiar urgent warning sound again. Warn. 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 Discovered level 5 weirdness, characteristics, 3 heads and 6 arms, and detected that the host's current strength is definitely no match for him. Please cherish your life and escape quickly. What kind of rice? Level 5 weirdness. 3 heads and 6 arms. Looking at the smiling, old Wang, in front of him, who was known as the most popular security guard in Tianjia community, Shen Jie was filled with surprise. Lao Wang will also become weird. Thank you, Uncle Wang. I rarely eat fruit. Shen Jie found a random reason and refused the security guard's kindness. Security guard Lao Wang stuffed oranges into the bag that Shen Jie was carrying. That won't work, Xiao Shen. You are so young. You just need to eat more fruits to be healthy. You were sick some time ago, so you rested at home for a week. It's just that I haven't eaten enough fruits and I am lacking in vitamins. Look at me, I am over 60 and I can still do 2 sets of boxing. Lao Wang made 2 postures with a roar, and his arms moved so fast that it really gave the illusion of 6 arms. Then, he took out another orange from his bag and said, I brought this from my hometown. Here's another one to eat more. Thank you. Thank you. No need. No need. One is enough, that's enough. Shen Jie has moved to Tianjia community for a few years, and he has become familiar with Lao Wang for a long time. It is not uncommon to see him conjure various fruits from his dimensional bag-like pockets. Take more vitamins. That's enough, Uncle Wang, one is really enough. The two of them were pushing an orange back and forth. Finally, Lao Wang was quick and stuffed the orange directly into the snack bag that Shen Jie was carrying. Facing the level 5 weird attack, the host remains calm in the face of danger, and pulls against the level 5 weird limit, being brave and invincible, and is rewarded with 50 system points x 50. Shen Jie. Uncle Wang, Uncle Wang. Shen Jie put the rice bag and water in his hand on the ground, and caught up with Lao Wang, who left with snacks and instant noodles. Uncle Wang, you often patrol the community, so you should pay attention to replenishing energy. I just bought some Snickers bars, take them. Shen Jie said as he grabbed a handful of Snickers bars from the bag and pointed them at old Wang. Pocket stuffer. No, 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 no. Lao Wang quickly held his pocket and refused. You want it, you want it. Shen Jie stuffed it into the other pocket. Lao Wang looked at the pockets full of Snickers bars and looked embarrassed. This. Xiao Shen, I rarely eat sweets like this. It's okay, there are a lot of new people in your security department. You can share it with others. There are events in the mall, and I bought more. Shen Jie said with a smile. You took the initiative to attack the level 5 weirdness, and you were able to face the opponent's strong counterattack with ease. You were able to fight the level 5 weirdness to the limit, you were brave and invincible, and you were rewarded with 50 system points. Shen Jie was overjoyed when he heard the system prompt. He opened up a few packets of instant noodles and stuffed them into Lao Wang's arms. Uncle Wang, you are tired from working overtime and have to patrol the night. Leave these at the security booth. You can pick them up when you are hungry. Lao Wang looked at the instant noodles that Shen Jie pushed in and couldn't laugh or cry. After another tug, Shen Jie happily raised 50 system points and ran away with the things happily. Shen Jie returned to the apartment, put down his things, and couldn't wait to sit on the sofa and open the properties panel. At the end of the day, the system points had reached 501. Among them, I earned 150 from entering and exiting Tom's Mall, and 150 from extreme pulling with Lao Wang. This adds up to 300, which is much faster than earning system points by chasing cats and dogs. Sure enough, it's faster to earn points by leapfrogging. Shen Jie sighed helplessly. If it weren't for the protection mechanism for newcomers and babies, and walked around the high-level area every day, why would he worry about earning system points? However, although I made 150 by maxing out Lao Wang, there was no reward for being out of danger after I got away from Lao Wang. Not only that, in Tianjia community, as the area where Lao Wang haunted, the weird warning prompt of level 5 only appeared once. Is it just because Lao Wang doesn't live in Tianjia community? So it's not as dangerous as where he lives. Shen Jie was a little confused and was going to find an opportunity to test the community where Lao Wang lived. By the way, there is still a temporarily saved reward that I haven't received. Shen Jie thought that in addition to system points for completing daily tasks, there was also an F-level recovery product. Withdraw rewards. Rewards are being drawn. Extraction successful. Obtain Healing Band-Aid X1, level F. The system prompt ended, and with a ray of white light, a palm-sized band-aid appeared out of thin air on the coffee table in front of Shen Jie. When Shen Jie looked at the band-aid, a line of small words appeared next to it. Healing Band-Aid, level F. It is applied to wounds and can quickly heal wounds caused by sharp objects. It is effective for most traumas. 10 seconds healing. 10 seconds to heal trauma caused by a sharp weapon? If reason hadn't told Shen Jie that there was only one piece of this thing and it was very precious, Shen Jie would have even wanted to go to the kitchen and chop it with a kitchen knife to try the effect. Put away the band-aid, Shen Jie turned on the computer. Normally if he came home at this time, he would be immersed in revising the plan, but today his mind was on the system and weirdness. Judging from the information in the log, although the strangeness was exposed on January 3, 2027, it had actually appeared before. Now that the internet is developed, big data has evolved to an exaggerated level. Maybe you search for a certain keyword on the internet, and when you browse apps such as Douyin and relevant information will be recommended to you, which also explains there is no longer any privacy at all. Shen Jie still remembered that the boss of the company complained to him before. One night, Mr. Wang spent the whole night browsing the young ladies. He couldn't help but log in to the color website. Although he cleared the browsing history, he received a large number of Jin Chen Fa Pi the next day. Simulation artifact, dimensional pleasure, and so on are recommended. Hence, even though the higher-ups already knew about the existence of weirdness, they carelessly went to the internet to search for phrases related to weirdness, which was undoubtedly asking for trouble. Shen Jie couldn't take the initiative to search. He could only constantly browse the post bar and forum, and try his best to change posts in a short time through quick browsing, giving big data the illusion that he was not interested in this kind of information. Trying to use the law of large numbers filters out useful information. But it's a pity that not a single weird-related information was found, but a lot of ghost stories were posted. Even though Shen Jie was very careful, the label of likes ghost stories was still recorded by big data, and more of them were posted on the post bar. Some live broadcasts of supernatural adventure and ghost story column. Unconsciously, the time passed midnight, and the date in the lower right corner of the computer had changed to 003, the 4th of January 2024. Ding. Chapter 7. Lottery, Lottery. Congratulations to the host for surviving another day in a world full of weirdness. The reward is 1% of freely distributed points and 10 system points. Shen Jie opened the attribute panel and took a look. Under the attributes, there was an additional, free attribute point, 1%, which can be used to add points to basic attributes. However, the system prompts that you can quickly improve your basic attributes through exercise before returning to the normal average, so there is no need to add points until your strength, agility, and constitution reach 100%. It's January 4th, so the log has been updated. Shen Jie opened the log and took a look. Sure enough, a new message appeared below the log on January 3rd. On January 4, 2028, you obtained the silent characteristic and relied on the characteristic effect to avoid the area infested by high-level weirdness and escaped from Dongcheng district. Returning to the stronghold, you reported what happened to the survival team yesterday to the organization, but concealed the information that you had activated the system and obtained the silent feature. Organize. Shen Jie looked at the information in the log and was slightly distracted. Judging from the log, he joined an organization after the strangeness happened. It is not yet known whether it is a non-governmental organization or an official organization. However, it can be seen from several pieces of information that the organization is similar to the base in apocalyptic novels. It has a stronghold and allows members to form teams to collect supplies. Obviously, within a year after the strangeness was exposed, the strangeness grew so rapidly that all countries were caught by surprise, and cities fell one after another. Wrong City is no exception. It is already necessary for survivors to form teams and go out to search for resources, which is enough to show how bad the situation is. Concealing the systematic and silent characteristics of the organization may not mean distrust of the organization, but may also be just a way of preserving oneself. The common man is not guilty of the crime, but when people find out that he has a system that can sell weird things and devour weird things, no one knows what kind of trouble it will cause. But there is no point worrying about it now. Shen Jie believes that he must make use of the system's attribute increasing function to make himself stronger as soon as possible. System, point lottery. As soon as he finished speaking, a lottery board appeared in Shen Jie's field of vision. Living supplies, 80%, weapons and equipment, 7%, consumables, 8%, free attribute points, 4%, 1%. P.S. As the rating is improved, more categories will appear. Do you want to consume 100 system points for a lottery draw? Shen Jie now has 511 system points, 100 at a time, and can draw 5 times in total. Just when Shen Jie was about to choose the option to draw rewards, his fingers stopped in midair. After thinking for a moment, he turned off the system and went to take a shower and change clothes. Then he turned on the stereo and played the song, Good Luck. For such a delicate matter as drawing cards, the ceremony cannot be missing. Smoke. Consume 500 system points for 5 draws. Prizes are being drawn. Ding. As the aperture jumped repeatedly among the 5 options, it finally stopped at the option of living materials, 80%. With an 80% chance of getting it, it's not surprising that you'll get it. Congratulations to the host for drawing a box of instant noodles. With a flash of white light, a box of instant noodles appeared on the coffee table. Compared with the box bought from the supermarket next door, it was larger. A big box. Shen Jie. Although this box of instant noodles may be valuable when the apocalypse comes, it is meaningless now. With Shen Jie's current financial resources, not only buying a house full of gold, but at least buying a house full of instant noodles would be no problem. Ding. Congratulations to the host for drawing a bucket of pure water, 19L. Water is the source of life, and it's not a loss if it comes in a big bucket. Ding. Congratulations to the host for drawing free attribute points, 1%. Shen Jie heard the sound and breathed a sigh of relief. At least it was no longer an everyday item. Ding. Congratulations to the host for drawing the F-level recovery product, Spirit Apple. Ha! Has a rating? Get better. Shen Jie suddenly became energetic, sat up straight and rubbed his hands, preparing for the last draw. Ding. As the aperture repeatedly jumped among the 5 options, because it appeared on the irises of Shen Jie's eyes, he unconsciously moved his eyes. The rotating aperture slowed down and was about to stop on living materials, 80%. Shen Jie's heart was in his throat, and he kept saying, beat it again, beat it again. But, finally, the aperture stopped at weapons and equipment, 7%. Yeah. Shen Jie pumped his fist excitedly, and the system prompts and white light appeared at the same time. Congratulations to the host for drawing the characteristic weapon, Pig Butcher Knife, characteristic, not bad. Characteristic weapons? Wait a minute, in addition to high-level weirdness having special characteristics, high-level weapons and equipment also have special characteristics? There was a pig-killing knife over a foot long placed on the coffee table. The blade was long and wide, showing a calm black color, cold and sharp, and shimmering with cold light. The handle is made of hardwood, and the rough surface gives it an old and tough texture. There is an iron ball inlaid at the end, which seems to increase the balance of the knife. If a national hero is engraved on the blade, it will really be like a heifer flying on a plane, and the cow will fly to the sky. Shen Jie picked up the butcher knife and tried it. It was much heavier than an ordinary kitchen knife, and it was enough. It weighs several kilograms, and it feels a bit difficult to swing it even a few times. Characteristics no bad? A bold idea suddenly flashed through Shen Jie's mind. System, swallowing characteristics. Shen Jie raised his kitchen knife and called the system. No strange corpse detected, please host to scan again. Swallow, the sea-level characteristic weapon Pig Butcher. Cannot be sold or swallowed unless it is weird. Hearing the system's ruthless answer, Shen Jie's idea of transforming into an indestructible King Kong came to nothing. After thinking for a while, Shen Jie asked, are the characteristics of systems and weapons and equipment unique? Characteristic weapons and characteristic equipment are both unique. Shen Jie looked at the butcher's knife in his hand and thought to himself, weapons are indestructible, so maybe one day a piece of body armor will have the property of being indestructible. In just 5 draws, you can get a spirit apple that can restore 100% of your spirit after eating it, as well as a sea-level characteristic weapon. It seems that this good luck is effective. Next time, let's change to the God of Gamblers entrance song. Shen Jie then opened the attribute panel, and after a day of fiddling with it, his basic attributes also improved a lot. Rating. Level 0 basic attributes, power 90%. Agility 80%. Physique 70%, Spirit 159%, 159%, 10% restored every hour. Free attribute points. 2% characteristics, silent. After use, it can enter a silent state, consuming 0.5% energy per second, and can be activated at the same time as other features. Skills known equipment: pig killing knife, sea-level characteristic weapon, not bad. System points 11 etc. Shen Jie suddenly thought of a serious question. Although the butcher's knife is a very rare weapon with special characteristics and looks very cool, knives are now regulated. You can't even get on the subway with a butcher's knife. Grass. I feel so lonely. Chapter 8, Office Payment. Early the next morning, Shen Jie got up 2 hours early according to the exercise plan he made yesterday. After breakfast, he jogged all the way from the community to his company in Dongcheng district. It is said to be a trot, but in fact it is running with stops, and most of the time it is walking. But there's nothing you can do about it. After all, long-term lack of exercise cannot be changed by getting up early. After learning through the system that something strange will appear in this world, Shen Jie's mind is now filled with the system and strange things. Yesterday's harvest was pretty good, especially the special weapon I drew. The only regret is that I can't take it with me. Tisk. This is a ***** system. It doesn't even give you a portable space. Shen Jie complained and already ran to the company building. The host never forgets his original intention in a world full of weirdness, insists on getting up early to exercise, and even breaks into the 7th level weird and polluted area alone. The host is rewarded with system points x50, agility plus 1%, and physical fitness plus 3%. Sure enough, as the system said, you can improve your attributes through exercise before they reach the standard value for a normal person. Shen Jie glanced at his attribute panel. At this rate, he can get close to the standard value for a normal person as long as he persists for half a month. Shen Jie arrived at the company nearly a quarter of an hour earlier than usual today. There was no one in the company yet, only the receptionist and a few model workers arrived. Brother Shen, is it so early today? Seeing Shen Jie entering the company, the girl at the front desk greeted him with a smile. Shen Jie said, "Good morning. Have you had breakfast? I have plenty of bread and milk here," the girl at the front desk said and took out a box of milk and sliced bread. "I've eaten, thank you," Shen Jie said as he walked into the office area and greeted several model workers who were already working at the workstation. As soon as he sat down at his desk, he saw the door of the general manager's office not far away opened, and a woman in professional old attire, wearing silver metal-framed glasses, and her hair came out. "Chen Jie, come to the office. New modification requirements came from yesterday's plan." The woman's name is Chang Shengnan. She is 26 years old. She is said to be a genius. She skipped several grades in school and graduated from college at the age of 18. He did not choose to continue his studies, but went directly into the design field. He broke his reputation in just 3 years. He is now the head of Rongxi, a company of Shen Jie. Shen Jie's impression of her, apart from a real strong woman and workaholic, only left her with good looks and nice legs. I don't know if it's because of the Shengnan in his name. Chang Shengnan is a little resistant to men and deliberately keeps a distance. His requirements for the company's male employees are almost extremely demanding. Because of this, Shen Jie had ***** with her several times. Fortunately, Shen Jie's skills were strong enough, and he won every time, which made the other party's temper calm down. The 2 design plans currently in Shen Jie's hands require Chang Shengnan's final decision, so the two have had more opportunities to communicate recently. When Shen Jie walked into the office, Chang Shengnan had already sat back in front of the computer. While operating the computer, he was scribbling and drawing on the file book. "Sit down. In front of you is the latest revision plan from Boss Chen. He said he talked to you yesterday and you also went to the site. Tell me what you think." Although Shen Jie quarreled with Chang Shengnan several times, he knew that this woman only had work in her eyes and would not hold grudges against conflicts that occurred at work, so they got along well with her later on. "I went to see it yesterday. As for the location, it can meet his requirements, but the follow-up construction is a bit troublesome. After all, the 2nd floor has already been started," Shen Jie replied truthfully. Chang Shengnan pushed up his glasses, looked at Shen Jie and said, "This is not a problem. I will ask someone to recalculate the budget later. Boss Chen is generous and engineering problems can be solved with money. He said that after you finish changing the plan, he will give it to you in the original plan. Based on the basics, I will add 5 points to you. Congratulations, you can rest for at least a few months after completing this order. Shen Jie raised his eyebrows. So the company can send me less orders in the next few months? Chang Shengnan paused, seemed to be thinking about it seriously, and finally shook his head. It's unlikely. After all, there are many old customers who have designated you to be responsible. Then give me a hammer. Shen Jie was about to go out with the new modification plan when Chang Shengnan suddenly stopped him and said, "Oh, by the way, can I trouble you? My secretary hasn't gone to work yet. When you go out, ask the front desk to call the maintenance department. Let's just say that the bathroom on our floor has a very bad smell." "Okay," Shen Jie responded. After returning to the office area and putting down the folder, he went to the front desk to talk about the matter. The girl at the front desk checked the number of the maintenance department, and while dialing, she complained to Shen Jie. "Did Mr. Chang smell it too? When I went to the bathroom in the morning, I felt something was wrong. There was an inexplicable rancid smell in the women's bathroom. The smell is obviously very strong. I can smell it even standing at the door, but Lao Zhang said it has no smell." "Rancid smell?" "Yes, it smells like meat that has gone bad after being left for a long time. I thought it was a dead rat, so I bravely went in and looked around, but found nothing." "Hey, you are so brave to dare to go in even though you know there are rats," Shen Jie joked. He remembered that the girl at the front desk had said before that the thing he was most afraid of was rats. The girl at the front desk smiled bitterly and said, "There is no way, people have 3 urgent needs." Shen Jie chatted with the girl at the front desk for a few more words. It seemed that every sentence was a casual joke, but in fact they were all asking about the rancid smell in the women's toilet. Had he been there before yesterday, he might have thought like the girl at the front desk, thinking that there was a dead rat hiding and rotting in a corner of the women's toilet. But after being exposed to the system and weirdness, it was difficult for Shen Jie not to think about these bizarre events in a weird direction. Shen Jie walked outside the restroom. The doors of the men's and women's restrooms were opposite. The girl at the front desk said that she could smell it even when she stood at the door. Shen Jie stood in the middle of the 2 doors, took out his mobile phone and pretended to read the message. At the same time, he smelled the smell carefully, but didn't smell anything. "Xiao," he said there was a smell at the door, but Lao Zhang couldn't smell it. Shen Jie stared at the phone screen and thought for a while. Lao Zhang and he had only one thing in common. They are all men. I can't smell it, and neither can Lao Zhang. Could it be that only women can smell it? Shen Jie put his cell phone back in his pocket, and then, accidentally, dropped the employee ID card in his pocket, and, just happened to, drop it at the door of the women's toilet. Shen Jie reached out to pick up his employee ID card. At this time, the door of the women's restroom opened, and Xiao Li, the company's salesperson, came out. "Brother Shen." Shen Jie picked up the employee ID card with a normal expression, took it to the sink and rinsed it with water. At the same time, he turned to Xiao Li and asked, "You look so bad, are you feeling unwell?" Xiao Li said, "The toilet smells so bad. I wonder if there are dead rats. You can smell it even standing at the door. Brother Shen, don't you smell it?" Shen Jie smiled. "I have a cold and stuffy nose, so it seems like a blessing in disguise." "Oh, it's too smelly. I can't stand it. I'll go over there first." After Xiao Li finished speaking, she ran back to the office as if to escape. Shen Jie looked at the door of the women's restroom and frowned. He was sure that there was a high probability of something strange inside, but why didn't the system give an early warning? Chapter 9. Chang Shengnan suddenly disappeared. According to the system's weird warning mechanism, even the first level weirdness will be warned, and this is still the first level weirdness 4 years later. In other words, the first level of system warning will be the first level 4 years later, and now it is just an ordinary life form. For example, the cats in the villa and the dogs outside the shopping mall. And there is already a rancid smell coming from the women's restroom, which means that there are already weird signs, or that something weird has already formed. The wild cat with the characteristic silent is level 4, but when Shen Jie met him, he didn't have any weird elements. He was just an ordinary wild cat. So, there are weird signs showing here, which means the rating is at least level 4 or above. Shen Jie has encountered high-level weirdness twice so far. One time was the 7th level weird place, Tom Mall, that was blocked by the system warning and could not be entered. The second time was in the community where he lived, where the fifth level weirdness, characteristics, Pharaoh, 3 heads and 6 arms. I won't say anything about it the first time, but the second time. Shen Zhe was still at the gate of the community and received an early warning when he saw Lao Wang from a distance. And now he is standing at the door of the women's toilet, and the system still has no response. Shen Zhe guessed that there are 3 possibilities. First, there was just a dead rat in the women's restroom, which was not weird at all. Second, the weirdness is so powerful that the system cannot detect it. Third, this weird thing has some special way to avoid detection by the system. Shen Zhe first eliminated one, because only women can smell the rotten smell, but not men, which is very strange in itself. Furthermore, Shen Zhe believed that with Chang Shengnin's personality, it was unlikely that he, Xiao He and Xiao Li would join forces to prank the male employees in the company. The second option is also unlikely. After all, the system has even issued warnings for 7th and 8th level weirdness. There is no reason why it cannot detect the weirdness here. But if it's 3, Shen Zhe felt a little heavier, because this meant that the system could not completely guarantee his safety, and he might encounter strange situations that could not be detected many times in the future. The system is too low, right? System. No response. System, can you detect if there is something strange around you? After the host improves its rating, more functions will be opened. What I said means I didn't say anything. The system does not have the function of daily communication. Shen Zhe only called his name and did not ask questions, so the system would not answer. Shen Zhe asked a few more questions that might be related to the hidden weirdness, but the replies he got either improved the rating to unlock more functions, or there was no response. Obviously, it was impossible to expect the system to find this weird thing. Shen Zhe returned to the office area. Half an hour later, someone from the maintenance department came up, and he followed the maintenance employees into the women's restroom. Hey, brother Shen, why are you here too? Xiao He at the front desk asked curiously when he saw Shen Zhe standing behind the 2 maintenance workers. Shen Zhe said, "Oh, I'm curious if it's a dead mouse." While talking, the 2 maintenance workers looked around and opened the cubicle doors one by one. This is a 5-star office area. The cleaning lady cleans it every day, so it is very clean. There's nothing, and I didn't smell the smell you mentioned, said the maintenance man. Xiao He said, "You guys really didn't smell it? It's like a putrid smell. Could it be a dead rat blocking the sewer?" The 2 maintenance masters looked at each other and shook their heads. "Brother Shen, you don't smell it either." Shen Zhe thought for a while and replied, "A little bit, but it's not obvious." Xiao He, how about you cooperate with the master's inspection? You look around to see where the smell is the strongest, and then let the maintenance master check it. Good. Xiao He sniffed around the women's restroom. From her little face that was almost wrinkled, it could be seen that it was really smelly here. Finally, we stopped at the sink. The smell is the strongest down here. Xiao He said, quickly covering his nose, retching a few times, and ran out of the toilet. While the 2 maintenance masters came forward to check, Shen Zhe also took the opportunity to get closer, but unfortunately, the system still did not indicate anything. The 3 of them cooperated with Xiao He to investigate for a long time, but could not find out the reason. In the end, the maintenance master could only say that he would go to other floors to see if it was true that there were dead rats blocking the sewer as Xiao He said. After the maintenance technician went to inspect the upstairs and downstairs floors, he found nothing strange. Later, at noon, the female staff in the company said that the smell was much smaller, and everyone ignored it. Although Shen Zhe was very curious, he searched and found no strange traces. The system also showed no indication like the sleep state, so he had no choice but to give up. As soon as it was time to get off work, people in the company were leaving one after another. Shen Zhe was about to leave after revising the plan. At this time, he saw Chang Shengnan running into the office area in a panic. Shen Zhe, who had just stood up from his desk, happened to face Chang Shengnan. This was the first time he had seen Chang Shengnan show such an expression in the few years he had been in the company. Shen Zhe, something happened. What's wrong? Chang Shengnan took a breath and said, Xiao He, she disappeared. What? Xiao He usually takes my car to the subway station. Before we leave, we go to the bathroom together. When we are in the sink, as soon as I turn around, she is gone, Chang Shengnan said nervously. Is it possible that Xiao He wanted to make a joke with you and hide? Shen Jie seemed to be answering Chang Shengnan's words casually, but in his heart he had already linked the matter to Wei Yi. Chang Shengnan said anxiously, "It's impossible. We came out of the toilet together and stood at the sink together. I concentrated on boiling the water. Within 2 seconds at most, Xiao He disappeared. There was no sign that the door had been opened, and there was no one under the sink. I checked every compartment." Shen Jie. Envisia, you are so brave. You dare to check every cubicle in this situation. What should I do? Oh, yes, call the police. Chang Shengnan quickly took out his mobile phone, dialed the police number, and briefly explained the situation. Shen Jie felt a little complicated at this time, nervous and worried, but there was a faint urge to find out, even though he knew that curiosity killed the cat. 2 minutes later, Chang Shengnan raised his head and said, "They said they would send someone up to take a look." Before Chang Shengnan finished speaking, he heard a scream coming from the bathroom, and the voice belonged to Xiao He. Xiao He. Chang Shengnan hurriedly rushed to the bathroom. Shen Jie also followed. When he was approaching the bathroom, he subconsciously woke up the system and turned on the characteristic, silent state. Xiao He. Xiao He. Chang Shengnan pushed open the bathroom door and looked in one room after another, but did not see anyone from Xiao He. Shen Jie turned off the silent state, looked at Chang Shengnan and asked, "Mr. Chang, where were you standing just now when you noticed that Xiao He was missing?" Chang Shengnan stood in front of the sink and pointed to the place beside him. "Just now, Xiao He and I were just one body apart. I was standing here and Xiao He was standing there. I lowered my head and turned on the water. When I looked up, I saw Xiao He gone." "Is there still a rancid smell?" Shen Jie suddenly asked. Chang Shengnan nodded. "Yes, it's much lighter than in the morning." Shen Jie stood at the door with his brows furrowed, as if thinking about Chang Shengnan's words. Chang Shengnan stood in front of the sink, staring at the mirror, wondering why Xiao He suddenly disappeared. At this moment, Shen Jie's eyes suddenly blurred, and Chang Shengnan, a living person, suddenly disappeared. Shen Jie's heart tightened and she subconsciously took a step back. Without him blocking her, the door to the women's restroom closed with a bang. Shen Jie quickly turned on the silent state, opened the door, and looked inside carefully, but he did not dare to let go and close the door and go in. After observing for a while, nothing was found. After canceling silent, Shen Jie shouted inside, "Mr. Chang? Mr. Chang? Xiao He? Are you still in the toilet?" No respond. Chapter 10. Level 5 Weird, Characteristic, Immovable. Shen Jie recalled that when he came for maintenance in the morning, Xiao He mentioned that the smell was the strongest under the sink. But he didn't rush into the bathroom to check. Instead, he closed the door and walked toward the stairs. At the top of the stairs, Shen Jie thought for a while and went upstairs first. After running to the restroom on the 20th floor, Shen Jie knocked on the door of the women's restroom first, raised his voice and asked, "Is there anyone in there?" After shouting twice, Shen Jie opened the door directly, but instead of going in, he squatted at the door and looked inside, but found nothing. Still no system prompt. Shen Jie frowned and was about to close the door and leave when he faintly smelled a strange smell, just like the rotten smell described by Xiao He. Shen Jie thought for a moment and ran upstairs again. Going to the bathroom on the upper floor, the rancid smell became more obvious. Shen Jie's idea is very simple. Xiao He said that the place with the strongest smell is the pipe under the sink. If the smell flows through the pipe, the smell becomes lighter and lighter. It should be that the rotten substances have been washed down. If you want to find rancid things, you must go down. But Chang Shengnan could still smell the rancid smell, proving that the source above had not disappeared. Even Shen Jie could smell the rancid smell as he walked up, which meant that the strange smell became more obvious, and the source should be in the upper area. Shen Jie searched all the way to the 33rd floor. As soon as he got out of the elevator, the system that had been sleeping came alive. Warn. A level 5 strange, characteristic, immobile presence has been detected ahead. Please escape from this area quickly, cherish your life, and don't seek death. Level 5 weirdness. At this moment, Shen Jie finally understood why the system had no warning. The weirdness of levels 6, 7, and 8 was too powerful and could already create a strange area. The system judged that Shen Jie would be in danger if he entered this area, so warnings would appear frequently. The weirdness below level 6 does not have a weird field and will not affect the environment, so you need to see the weirdness or be at a close distance to get early warning. The restroom on the 33rd floor is probably the location of the strange immobility on level 5. The weirdness the system sees is the state 4 years later, so the current level 5 weirdness immobility should be less than level 5. Shen Jie deduced from the previous, early warning, rule that the current level 5 is most likely only about level 1 or level 2. But even at level 1, Shen Jie has almost no combat effectiveness except for a silent characteristic that eliminates all its own sounds. Shen Jie's heartbeat quickened, and he suddenly felt discouraged. Shen Jie glanced at the firebox in the elevator room, thought for a moment, rushed over and picked up the dry powder fire extinguisher in the box, turned on feature, silent, and walked towards the bathroom. The effect of silent is to eliminate all sounds of oneself, and indestructible is to ensure that oneself is not damaged, and immobile means that one cannot move. Shen Jie wanted to deduce the effect of this characteristic from the word immovable. If he mastered the effect of the characteristic, it would naturally be much easier to deal with it. For example, silent, if the wild cat has turned into something strange, the silent effect will make it completely silent. However, as long as the wild cat is face to face, or discovered in advance, the impact of the silent characteristic will be minimized. Whether this immobility means that it is strangely immobile, or that it will be affected by strangeness if it does not move, it will be safer to keep moving first. Of course, there is another possibility that the self-immobility situation can avoid being affected by the strange influence of this immobility. After all, the characteristics may be different, and Shen Jie's inference is based on his exploration of silence and the conclusion he reached. Before Shen Jie came to the bathroom, he first turned on the switch of the dry powder fire extinguisher, put the fire extinguisher under his right arm, held the button with his right hand, and slowly pushed open the bathroom door with his left hand. Warn. The host is about to break into an area infested by level 5 weirdness, characteristic. Immobile. This place is very dangerous. Based on the current rating of the host, it is certain that there will be no life or death. Please leave quickly. Ively. Shen Jie felt that his heart was about to jump into his throat. He raised his hand and patted his face to force himself to wake up, and continued to reach out to push the door open. The moment the door opened, a rotten smell hit my nose. In nervousness, Shen Jie almost pushed the door open, and unconsciously pressed the switch to spray dry powder with his right hand, and a white mist entered the bathroom. Due to the silent feature, there is no sound even when the fire extinguisher sprays dry powder. However, there was nothing in the bathroom, and Shen Jie sprayed it all. No? Shen Jie glanced around the bathroom, including under the sink, and still found nothing. However, the system had prompted to enter the level 5 weird area, which meant that there must be something weird here. Etc. The system is talking about level 5 strange haunts, not level 5 strange lair. Shen Jie's eyes stayed on the pipe under the sink, and he already had a guess in his mind. He took the fire extinguisher and ran to the stairwell and onto the rooftop. Warn. 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 The host is about to enter a level 5 weird, characteristic, immobile, lair. The host's current attributes are definitely no match for him. Please leave this area quickly and don't lose your life in vain. Although the system cannot currently scan the area and directly tell Shen Jie the location of the strange place, through this early warning function, Shen Jie still successfully found the 5th level strange lair. Shen Jie stepped onto the rooftop with a wary expression. The system had awakened 4 years in advance. The current weirdos were still cubs, so he was not without the ability to fight. Only by nipping the weirdness in the cradle can we prevent it from continuing to grow. Otherwise, if we let it develop, it is very likely to become a real level 5 weirdness. Besides, there is something strange in the company building. Unless I change jobs tomorrow, I can't avoid contact with it. But now 2 people are missing, and he is the last person to come into contact with them. If someone changes his job as soon as he disappears, the police will definitely find him. Not to mention, these were 2 people who were close to him, and just running away like this made Shen Jie unable to overcome his own conscience. No matter what aspect you consider, killing the weirdness before it grows up is the best choice. Shen Jie glanced around, and finally stopped at the 5-meter-high water storage tank. He remembered chatting with the security guard of the office building before. The security guard told him that the building had its own water purification system, and usually collected it through the water storage barrel on the roof. It is purified through a water purification system and delivered to each floor for water supply to sinks and toilets. If the problem lies in the pipe under the sink, then the source may be the water storage tank. Shen Zhe climbed up to the water storage tank with a fire extinguisher. The silence could only last for more than 5 minutes. It was already halfway through and he had to hurry up to find it. Source. The higher you climb, the more pungent the putrid smell becomes. Shen Zhe climbed to the top and took a look at the water tank, and almost vomited it out. There was about 2/3 of the water in the water tank, and there was a large ball of black hair in it, twisted together like a ball of yarn, at least 2 meters in diameter. This black ball of hair is full of rotten rats, hundreds of them, some of them even turned into skeletons. Vomit. Shen Zhe was retching from the rancid smell. Just when he was about to spray the ball with a fire extinguisher, he saw a mouse emerging from the water purification device in the corner of the water tank. The mouse seemed to be trying to climb out of the water storage tank through the pipe, but it stepped on the hair on the pipe. The hair was like a bug and immediately got entangled in it. The entangled mouse made a chirping sound, but it attracted more hair, and it was completely entangled and twisted in an instant. The next second, Shen Zhe was surprised to find that the mouse suddenly disappeared from his eyes, and the original chirping sound also disappeared. Immediately afterwards, drops of blood dripped from the hair, and the blood dripped into the water below. The hair soaked in the water gave birth to a long string.